Alright, so we don't know how this works. We don't know if somebody's supposed to come in and introduce us. So
But it's
paranormal investigator.
But it's 1:30. We want to start on time for you guys.
Oh.
Yeah. We're going to do a lot of Q&A too, because I'm sure everybody here has some questions. But first, I'd like to we'll introduce ourselves as we go on.
Okay. I'm Katie. I'm the co-founder of our group. I'm my husband.
I'm Jay. I'm the founder.
And I'm Alan, lead investigator, equipment manager,
Case manager.
You know.
He wears many different hats, which is a good thing. Basically, you know, from my story, being involved in the paranormal, I've always had that interest, that passion throughout my life, whether I grew up on Creature Features back in the day, or, you know, any of the horror movies or poltergeist movies, always had that interest. And it wasn't until really me and my wife's our East Coast honeymoon that we did out on the East Coast. We went through Boston, ended up in Salem. They had a ghost hunting tour. It was really cool. It was like more than how many people are here, but it was still kind of cool going to these places, taking pictures, seeing if we can catch anything paranormal. And we had a pretty good time there.
Yeah.
You know, she was scared. Because after the tour was over, we actually...
we went back on our own.
Yeah, which was still, it was still kind of creepy, but that's where we caught our first paranormal picture. You know, because it wasn't until a couple of weeks later, you know, I'm looking at this picture of me that she took, and there's nothing really abnormal about it. I kind of pan it a little bit to my left-hand shoulder. I'm getting a little bit closer, and you could see a distinct face, eyebrows, jaw line. It was bizarre. It creeped me out. It was like 2 in the morning. Matter of fact, I showed my daughter Maddie at that time. She's like, look, get it off the screen. But, you know, at that point is when we thought, you know, we watched Taps and Ghost Adventures and you see Paranormal State. But again, that is TV, it is entertainment. I'm not knocking that, I'm not hypocritical. But we wanted to find out the
truth on our own.
Yeah.
We wanted to know if there was something out there. We believe there's something more out there, and that's what we do in our group. But we just wanted to find out proof all on our own. You know, not TV version, not ratings version, you know, on our own. So.
What's even more paranormal is that she got married after a honeymoon like that.
It was like a very wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that, you know, that's where we came up with the Hunt the Truth, is because we wanted to find out for ourselves. Everybody, every team member has that passion for the paranormal. And yeah.
So yeah, that's what kind of led us here. You know, it seems that everybody here, I'm sure that's in this room, has had an experience. Somebody knows of somebody that had an experience, and basically, yeah, we're just trying to figure out what exactly these experiences are, what they mean, and go from there.
Our slogan is, if we don't have proof, then we throw it out. Is the slogan?
Oh, I don't even remember our slogan.
It rhymes. If in doubt.
If in doubt, thank you. If in doubt, throw it out.
She's nervous, but she's my wife now.
Our topic is technically favorite haunts, so we kind of thought we'd maybe throw out a couple, and then if you guys have some questions or whatever, you can ask us. I'll start. One of my favorites is we were in a residence in Rockton, Illinois, and it's Illinois, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right there. Rockton, Illinois. And the story behind the place is that they felt like there was the women in the home had seen this man. And when they bought the house, there was a cigar box in the basement. And several times they've tried to just, you know, put it off in the corner, and it always came back to the same spot that it was at when they first moved there. So we got all set up with all of our equipment. If you haven't seen all our equipment, we have the booth over in the other ballroom, and we had all our equipment set up. And I told the guys, I said, all right, before we start, I'm going to go downstairs, get the cigar box, and bring it upstairs, just to see if it was going to move. And I got downstairs, I was by myself, and the lights were on, so I wasn't too scared. You know, I figured the lights are on. And I picked up the cigar box, and as I turned to walk back up the stairs, and I'm a skeptic, so I'm not typically freaked out in a situation. And I went to go up the stairs, and all of a sudden it felt like this energy was pushing me. I felt like I needed to run. I mean, I started running. It was like, it really scared me. It's like something was behind me telling me, why are you touching my box? Why are you, messing with my stuff? And so I got up the stairs and had a few moments to breathe before we started the investigation. So that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. during investigations, you know, we do everything by request. So if you go to our website, you can request an investigation. We don't charge any money or ask for donations. But during some off time or whatnot, when we're not investigating residents or businesses, we'll go to a local cemetery that we hear of different paranormal activity. And actually, it was just me and another team member. It was just the two of us out there. And this is kind of one of my scariest ones because the only thing I can explain, I don't get scared that easy. I mean, sure, the startle or whatnot, but again, when I process something happening like that, I can't say if it's real or not. And I was walking a couple of feet ahead of Paul, and I walked into what sounded like I mean, 5 feet in front of me. And again, I'm just like, but I processed that really quick because it was dark. And I just stopped and all the hair stood up. I'm just like, what am I hearing right now? So that's one that I can honestly say was, my most scariest because the emotions I had at that point were scared. Usually when we do investigations, we're going there and it's almost like your adrenaline's pumping, you're about to start, you're thinking something paranormal is going to happen, and then it doesn't. 9 out of 10 times, maybe more than that. You're there, and it's really not that scary. So you're kind of calm after a while, and it gets kind of boring and boring, boring, and then at the end of the night you wrap up and you're trying to keep your eyes open. So that was probably my scariest.
Can't say I have a scariest. I do have a favorite though. All right, so I'll set it up. We're in Plainfield, Wisconsin. I don't know if you guys know Plainfield, hometown of Ed Gein, correct? The client called us, thought that this was the place that Ed Gein had committed one of his last known murders. It turned out to actually be across the street at the hardware store. We were kitty-cornered to it. It was an old bar that we were in, old two-lane bowling alley downstairs, everything like that. So the whole Ed Gein thing, he used to frequent the bar, kind of, gets your blood boiling a little bit. And I'm not sure exactly what time of night it was, but it was...
First shift.
Was it first shift?
It was the first
okay.
shift.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's first shift, so we're talking 9, 10 at night, somewhere around there. All the lights are out. Just a creepy place in general, especially where we were. It was Katie, myself, and Ashley. She's right behind you guys. We were investigating. We decided to go into the basement where the old two-lane bowling alley was. Walking down the stairs, cobwebs, just set up for like a haunted house. It really was. The ceilings are partially falling down. We get in there. I start walking down the stairs. I'm in the front. Katie and Ashley are right behind. I get to the bottom of the stairs, and I thought I had my first paranormal experience. Just this object came right at my face, literally within inches, and just zipped past me. I mean, at that point, I'm very calm when it comes to investigations.
Very calm.
I mean, very calm. Nothing really scares me, but that was one of the, what was that? And, Katie's like, what?
Ashley and I were trying to think we were running up the stairs.
Right.
We were going to stay.
They were breathing like the Blair Witch, like...
And we have proof of that.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
So she's asking me, what? I'm like, hold on, I'm trying to process exactly what just happened. And I asked her if she had her DVR on. She said yes, so I started asking questions. Well, I asked, hello, and as soon as I said hello, I heard a rustling in the back corner. I mean, like instant. But it was quiet after that. So I asked again, is anyone here? I hear this rustling in the corner. What the hell is going on, So I flip on the little headlight I have and start kind of walking towards it. Ask again, hello? Well, I hear it again, so now I'm like, all right. Now, you don't know exactly. I'm thinking maybe there's a bum down here. He doesn't want to find us. It can't be a ghost. I just don't know what it is. Well, I had a big spotlight in my hand just because it was the first time we were down there. We wanted to not trip over everything and kill ourselves. Well, as soon as I turned the spotlight on, this bat about this big whipped right over my head, buzzed right at them. I ducked, screamed bat, and I don't know, when is that scream contest? Was that yesterday or?
Today at
4:30. Those two would have won the scream contest. I mean, this place was divided into 2 buildings.
I
The
can
team
take
on the
those
other
bats
side.
now.
I heard them. I'm like, what? We just started. It doesn't happen that quick. It happens at 3:15 a.m.
So, I mean, you know, I'm a guy, I like two girls hugging each other every now and then. They were one person, basically. And,
On the floor, mind you.
Yeah, ducking. So I thought it would be a great idea to go find something to catch it, let it outside. I kind of felt bad for it. I told them to stay there, and I was going to go up the stairs. I get to the top of the stairs, and just the loudest shriek you'd ever hear. I guess it buzzed them again, and they came barreling up the stairs, almost plowed me over, and yeah, that was it. So,
That's your
but the funny thing that ended up with that is we went down there probably a couple hours later, just during a break to find the bag. I was taking a picture, or I'm sorry, Ashley was taking pictures, and I had a big stick in my hand. I watched the bag go up into the ceiling, so I was kind of.
Well, the ceiling was so old, it was like broken in.
It was an older wooden ceiling that, you know.
We usually don't do this on investigations, mind you.
Right,
We don't
yes.
take big sticks.
We don't vandalize.
Yes. We're very careful. We don't break anything.
But
it was up there.
It turns out I'm going through the pictures, and that would be one of the pictures on our board where you see the shadow that's the shape of a silhouette of a man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, what exactly is it? I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but I think it's on our board.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you guys, when we're done, get over here, check that out. It's rather interesting. Great story behind it.
Yeah, not only that, I don't know if you saw right when you came in, we have some brochures, business cards, magnets, some candy. Please take them. And if you do visit our booth, we do have some of our evidence. It's on our website. But at the same time, this is actually the homepage of our website. And it's really, once you get to the homepage, it's very easy to navigate through it, to look up the news we're doing, any current investigations, evidence of EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon, and some video. We actually caught a video clip this year at the Rhodey Opera House in Kenosha. And we'll set up a 4-camera DVR system and walk around with the camera. We haven't caught anything on that since we've done that. Nothing moving or like an object moving or anything like that. And at the Rhodey, there was nobody in that room. We can verify that. But whatever it is, was quicker than a flash, because you actually saw it when you were watching the DVR. We'll set up a command center and have 2 investigators watch that. Not like they're watching TV. They're actually investigating and watching each screen to make sure they're keeping their eye on everything. Alan saw a light of some sort on the bottom right-hand corner going from the right to the left, and we picked it up, and it was there. And it's not a bug. It's moving faster than a flash.
That it was self-illuminating.
It's self-illuminating and solid. So
some form of energy. What it is, we're not exactly sure. But it was interesting.
We can open up if you guys have questions.
If you guys have questions, don't be scared. We won't, make anybody look foolish or anything like that.
Nobody? Question?
Go ahead. Question.
You first.
Okay.
You guys are up at Plainfield. I heard everybody up there is pretty weirded out about it.
They do not like to talk about Ed Gein. That
Very
is,
close
it was
now.
taboo. Pretty much very close community, and the name Ed Gein, when you bring it up, is like, ooh.
Yeah, it's kind of like, that's, where they're born and raised, and
Well,
why is everybody making him almost?
I guess if my aunt was turned into a lampshade, I probably wouldn't want to talk about it either.
Yeah. Mildly put. Oh wait, I think she had the next question.
Yes. Is everything you see scary to you, or do you see some, just like people or feel people hanging out? If you go into a cemetery, can you more feel energy?
You got to remember too, we're all human in the point where,
Well,
like you were saying, okay, I'll let you finish.
I guess where I'm going with this is, there must be some good positive energy that you feel and see too. Is that kind of accurate, or is it kind of all, pass it?
None of us claim to be sensitive in any way.
Oh, okay.
So we really can't, for us to say that, we feel positive energy or negative energy, we can't say that.
Okay.
None of us claim to be sensitive.
But at the same time, a non-sensitive
But
could
it's
still
not
feel
all
that
bad,
too.
right?
Right, no, not at all. Most of the places we go into and most of the, spirits or ghosts that may be found aren't there to harm anybody. They're not there, they're just stuck. They haven't crossed over or whatever the theory may be. They're there. They're not there to harm you. Usually 9 out of 10, nothing to be scared of. So,
Well, going back to the rock den where you were getting pushed up the stairs, we were actually, this had been at 2:30. We were doing the basement. Now at this point during the ghost hunt, it's like sitting in someone's basement just with the lights out and time is just, it gets that way. But there was this one point where it was Paul was on the outside of the basement bedroom and I was on the inside. One of our pieces of equipment actually lights up, not totally bright like this, but enough. And Paul was looking into the bedroom and he said, there was some sort of form shadow that he was looking at, but it looked like it was getting bigger. But he just asked, he goes, hey, are you moving in there? We're, literally 10 feet apart around a corner. And I said, no. And immediately, this is the first experience I felt of the feeling of being ice cold in every hair on my body. My legs everywhere, I just went up like a cat. And it's weird because I don't get scared that easy. And again, my adrenaline was down on anything paranormal that happened. So, the feeling of, and I don't know, it was, you're talking about the energy and everything. And
I think we're so inquisitive, we jump more to questions, what is this, before we're scared. Because so many things that we've caught have turned out to be, oh, it was this person in the corner, they moved the wrong way, or, a chair that was sitting right on the edge of something kind of fell, and we're always looking for the reason before we say, oh, it's a ghost, this place is haunted, and we don't do that.
Right, our mission would be to debunk first and prove it second. So if we're doing an investigation, we are going to actually go in and try to debunk it, finding a natural cause for it, until we can.
Which 9 out of 10, we can usually find a reason for the feeling of being watched, or the footsteps, or, there's so many natural and mechanical reasons in a home that most people don't even realize. Whether it's the refrigerator kicking on, whether it's the plumbing, the hot water heater kicking on. There's so many different things. Houses settle, they make noises. So, a lot of people jump the gun and well, God, it's haunted.
But we do believe in ghosts.
Well,
we're not saying that
we don't all believe in ghosts.
We believe in something more.
Right.
My question would be, if you had a choice of anywhere you would be able to investigate, where would you want to investigate?
I think we're going to be doing that next year about this time.
Yeah.
Gettysburg.
Really?
Yeah. We're actually going to be setting it up as a field trip opened up, so keep your eyes open on the website.
That would be sweet.
Yeah. So
They've actually seen entire troops.
Yeah.
Right.
Walking.
We've heard so much, so we're going to be doing that October 2010. So, we're looking up the cost and all that. We're just going to get it in one package. We plan on doing some, I don't want to say local field trip type things, but something around the Kenosha area, depending on which would cost nothing to do. But the Gettysburg is.
I would love to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Keep your eye on that one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
There's also some really great places in Chicago I'd like to get into. Part of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, things like that. But so much of that is being closed down that you can't enter any of that because a lot of it's privately owned. There's a lot of stuff in Chicago with the mobsters and everything that that I would love to get into. We've been to a cemetery called Bachelor's Grove, which is where supposedly behind the cemetery a lot of the people, that's where the mob kind of got rid of them. And so there's a lot of stories back there. People used to go back there and do their devil worship and different things like that. But it was a really cool place, very creepy place.
Yeah.
We
went in the day too.
Yeah, in
It
the
was still
daytime.
creepy.
You can't go at night.
They locked it up. So
give you big tickets if you go there at night. So.
But it's still creepy during the day because they have this patch on the forest and nothing grows there. It's really odd. Seriously, it's like you see the trees coming over this way and you see all the grass and everything, but for some reason, just in that area, they haven't been able to explain why. We didn't experience anything back there. I was telling him to come and get me. I was provoking him.
Yesterday, I overheard, I believe, Paul talking about.
I'm Alan.
Oh,
I know
Alan.
he did point at me and say,
Oh, okay.
I was going to slap him for it.
Wait, I thought you're not Paul.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry, go ahead, ask the question.
Legally
He was talking about the Eagles Park Ballroom and the rave.
Correct.
And I'd just like you to expand upon that, because we're gonna go to a concert at the end of the month there. And I've been there
Okay.
before, but didn't know its history, paranormal based, so.
There's a lot of history paranormally with the Eagles Ballroom. I can't tell you all the claims, just because there's so many. But a lot of full body apparitions, lots of things moving, a lot of the famous musicians that have been there have experienced things. But most of the stuff is in the off-access areas. It's, the boiler rooms, the back rooms, kind of the behind-the-scenes stuff. Not necessarily the actual ballroom itself, but there's been reports of pianos playing by themselves and not the type that actually play it by themselves. Guitars, drums, just all sorts of music stuff that's going on there with nobody around. And these are reports from either the owners, the managers when they're locking up. There's so many different reports of that place. And if you Google, I'm a Google fan. Just get on Google, type in the Eagles Ballroom, and maybe put haunted behind it. You will find thousands of stories on it.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating place. It really is.
Yes.
Actually, it's, I really have a question to kind of expand on his.
Awesome. Go for it.
There was a time, a couple of times where I had to go to the rave when there was no show going on because I was trying to set myself up to play there. And, the first couple of times I went, it was just like, wow, I've never been in here when it's this empty, it's kind of cool. But then there was just one time where I went in there and there was nobody else around me because the person in the box office had to go find somebody. And something just felt off. It's just one of those feelings where you feel like there's a bunch of people around you, but there isn't a bunch. You're by yourself and I'm just looking around like, okay, I know this place is supposed to be haunted, so this is kind of freaky. And if I had the chance, I would have started taking pictures left and right just to see if I could find something.
That might go along with her question, which is that energy that you feel, or whatnot. What did you feel when you felt? I don't know.
And what is it?
Yeah.
Is that residual energy that's left over from the past, or something that's come back because that was one of the favorite places?
Yeah, because it didn't feel threatening. I didn't feel like I was in danger. Because me and a couple of friends have gone amateur kind of ghost hunting to locations we were allowed to go to, and sometimes you feel weird stuff, other times you don't. But I've never gone somewhere and felt in danger, like I was going to be harmed.
Right.
Also, to add on to the ballroom, a lot of people don't know this, but it was, if you go to the website, they have the early pictures. It was built in 1926, and in the basement they have a pool, and supposedly around the pool area it's haunted.
Do you have a question?
How much investigation do you do into the history and kind of the suspected phenomenon of a location before you go and investigate?
As much as we can.
Okay.
We will dig. Before the investigation, that's exactly what we'll do. Is we have Paul here, Alan.
Also, Jackie in the back that's taking pictures, she's very good at researching. We get in contact with, we have actually, in our group, we have a couple different labels. We have a case manager who is Alan, and then an assistant case manager, and they call the person who's requested an investigation, get all the information. We ask very personal questions, because we need to know any background that is with the house or with the people, because a lot of times they say that ghosts attracted to people. They might be attached to a person and not necessarily a location. So that's kind of the information we try to find out. And then after we've talked to them, then we do our own research. We go to the city and try to find out land information, because a lot of times houses are haunted not because of the house, not because of someone that died there, but because of the land it's on. Especially in Wisconsin, because of all the Indian burial grounds and the spiritual places that the Indians used so many years ago. There's a lot of energy with that.
Limestone deposits, a lot of that in Wisconsin.
Just to kind of follow up, I don't want to sound like a jerk or anything, but do you think that investigate like that, looking into history, and that might kind of set you up to experience things that you might not experience if you hadn't looked into it?
But that's exactly the way I agree with you. That's how come, you would say you don't want to know anything about it. You just want to know if it's haunted, but then you have to get the facts. So again, the way we approach it, you hear this, you're setting yourself up. We try to debunk it first.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we're not going to go in there and say, all these stories on the internet, or these, the claims are going to be of, things flying around. All right, we'll go there, we'll see. Oh, they're bugs.
Yeah,
we
we're
debunked it.
strictly scientific. I mean, with all the equipment, that's what we use. We don't let our minds make the decision. The equipment makes the decision. And we use, on a typical investigation, we're talking over 100 man-hours of videos, thousands and thousands of pictures. And, when we review this, it's all in real time. It's not like we can just fast forward on TV and get to the evidence portion of it.
And you've got to listen very carefully. We have, 5 different DVRs, digital voice recorders. You got 5 times 6 hours. That's just the audio alone. Then you got the video with 4 different channels times 6 hours. However long it takes, and then all the photos.
We see your point.
Yeah,
In fact, there's the new TV show, what is it, Ghost Lab?
Ghost Lab.
They don't find out anything before they
Right.
go to investigation, they just go to the investigation. And there's probably pros and cons for both. You do, in actuality, you do need some background knowledge. Because first of all, you need to make sure that the person that's calling you is not on hallucinogens and is drinking alcohol and calling you and saying there's toast in my house that comes up and says hi.
How is that not one of your stories?
Yes.
That's a true story, by the way.
That was a true story.
You're going to start from scratch with that one. This is great.
Let's hear it.
Well, basically, one of the claims was that I wasn't the case manager on it. I heard from the case manager at the time, and he said that the lady said, "Is it paranormal if your toast pops up and says hi on it?" So
you just don't know. When you come
get a new toaster.
So actually, the
Stop putting
last,
an imprint in.
the last trade show we had
Yeah.
a piece of toast on our board.
WPI.
that said WPI on it.
So we call that
Ghost
ghost toast. Ghost toast. But that stuff happens.
That is one of the problems, is that unfortunately there are a lot of people out there that are, having issues. And, I don't know how else politically correct to say it, but you have to find out, is this a real thing? Or, are you walking into a house where they're going to set up traps and trap you in their basement and keep you? You don't know in this.
You have a dark mind.
Plus,
I've been around this group way too long.
if their claims are valid, we like to verify. So it's good to maybe previous owners or, was there murder in the house? It's not going to psych us out. It's not going to affect our decision, but it's good to know where we're starting from.
See, when I actually first started, anybody knows X-Files and Fox Mulder, I want to believe, and Scully.
Is Paul right here?
Yeah, Paul. I would start calling him Alan because you can start calling him Paul soon. So Alan here, which is really good because you have to be beyond skeptical, and that's exactly what we do, and that's how our whole team thinks now. Maybe in the beginning when you were in fog and you took a picture and you saw a million orbs, you're like, look at all the ghosts.
And then you learn really quickly.
And you learn really quick. So
on our first ghost tour, when we were out in Salem on that tour, and we got this picture, and it looked like this great orb, and we were so excited because the tour guide had said, watch for this or watch for this with your camera, and we got him. We're like, oh my gosh! We ran up there and showed him, and he's like,
yeah,
maybe.
like we would do now.
Yeah.
If somebody sent us a picture of dust
We've
storms
come
or
a
something.
long ways from where we started.
Yeah,
so.
so that's always that learning.
Go ahead.
Have you recorded any, EVPs?
Absolutely. Stop by our booth.
Or any
Stop by our booth.
intelligent, like they were actually.
We've had a couple that were intelligent.
Go ahead. The Plainfield one would be.
The Plainfield one, me and Ashley were in a bedroom. It was a bedroom where a guy supposedly killed himself. Now, I said supposedly, because we couldn't verify that. So, he supposedly killed himself. We were in there, we had been in there for a while, and we were about to leave, and just asked a simple question. I'm like, so you're the one that killed yourself in here? Immediately after that, you heard a faint, yeah. It was clear as day, it was a yeah.
But you didn't hear it, it just showed
Nope,
up on.
didn't hear it.
A lot of times
Heard it
you tell, it's
radio.
very rare that people will catch an EVP with their own ears.
He's good with catching them too.
There's one time, and only one time out of all the investigations, that we actually heard it with our own ears, and that was in a very old school up in Howard's Grove. Me and an investigator, Keith, were walking into a room, and you heard a woman's voice, nobody around, you heard a woman's voice say, hey, who's there?
And it
then
just
something
went
went
off,
off.
yeah.
And it was clear as day, we heard it with our own ears, and you can hear us on the recorder, what was that?
He goes, yeah, you hear that?
You know, and we walked right to where it was. There's absolutely no reason. We probably spent an hour between all of us trying to figure out what could cause it.
Yeah, you know, you go outside, even so, you know, like let's say somebody gets wind of, oh, paranormal investigators are coming to town, let's mess with them on the outside the window. You know, like a school, 2 classrooms together, you know, what were they, the fold-up windows? You remember?
Yeah.
You know, like the school windows. Anyway, we would go outside, I had Paul go outside and try to talk like a woman. He was able to do it, but I didn't hear him though, you know, I mean, no matter what he did, it was not there. It was within feet of there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and again, you think, okay, is somebody messing with you, putting, you know, some sort of like speaker or something, and speaking from somewhere or whatever. So, you know, you try to find that out because it's like, it doesn't seem normal to hear a voice in that room like that. You know, so.
I don't know, doesn't even know what time it is? I don't know if we're
2 o'clock.
It is 2 o'clock.
Yeah, whatever.
I'd
You guys-
like to,
Unless they kick us out.
I'd like to tell you one more story, and I can have Jay step in if he wants to, because it is his story, but I love telling it. At the Rhody Opera House, I don't know how many of you have ever heard of the Rhody Opera House. If you have not, you should look it up. It's very interesting.
Where's Jackie? She did all the
Yes,
history.
Jackie has all the history on that.
And it's in our brochure too.
Anyways, my husband and my stepdaughter Madison and one other, we had a guest investigator that came with us that time. Doesn't usually happen, it was like a promo thing we were doing.
Local radio station.
And they were down in this basement. We called it a clutter room because the room was the room where they put everything that they didn't need. I mean, and it was just full of crap everywhere. And it supposedly, the ghost doesn't like it when it gets very cluttered. And so we were messing with it all night. That's kind of something else we sometimes will do, and try to provoke a little bit, try to get some activity. So we started taking chairs and moving them around, and taking papers and throwing them on the floor, and just trying to do something, you know. And by the way, we cleaned that all up. And
We're professional.
yes, we are. Anyways, they went to leave, or they left the room and then came back through. And when they came back through, our guest investigator had someone come up and right up in her ear and just go, right up in her ear. It scared her. She was a guest investigator. She didn't usually do that.
She was pretty much a skeptic.
Yes. And so they kind of freaked out a little bit, stayed in the room.
They did. I was calm.
Stayed in the room, and then they decided, okay, nothing else was happening, so they decided to leave the room again. Well, the way they left this time was there's a hallway. Okay, you have the hallway, here's the clutter room, and they were walking up to a set of stairs that took you to the next level. And Maddie and Diane, who was the guest investigator, Jay was in front, was going up the stairs. Notice the guys are always in front, by the way.
I actually said I would trail, but they wanted me to take points, so.
Anyways, so the two of them were walking next to each other, and at the same time they both turned to each other and said, "Do you hear that?" And as they said that, footsteps are coming from behind them. And as they're getting ready to kind of figure out what in the world is that, the footsteps started going and chasing after them.
It was like on the kind
And, you know, they
See,
sort
you're
of,
scaring Maddie.
and they started running up the stairs and got up there and, you know,
And the only piece of evidence that we did catch was on our audio, the audio DVR that we had of that. Again, we do have at our booth, we do have our EVPs with headphones. It is really loud out there. A lot of people are like, I can't hear it. We didn't know on how loud it was going to be here, but please just go onto our website and listen to them. We even throw on some headphones. There's a description of them. Click on the link. And listen away.
any other questions?
Yeah, anybody have any other questions? No?
Thank you,
Okay,
guys.
thanks Sarah, thanks for everyone for stopping and listening to us, and please take a brochure
And candy.
candy. Jackie made all that candy, go on, make her proud.